2 of the CWL Championship.
Honestly, here we go, Momo. We're jumping into this first hardpoint. Also want to give a big shout out to what's going on Bravo, Allegiance versus Red Reserve. That is going to be a big match that we'll keep our eyes on. But as we go to Breakout, this is not a good hardpoint map for either EG or Fnatic. EG, since adding Parasite, has never won this map. Fnatic, they lost to Tainted Minds by 104 points on the same level.
Yeah, both of these guys obviously have struggled on Breakout. Speaking to Fnatic boys, of course, seen them this morning, they said, you know, Breakout, it really is a 50-50. I mean, most hard points are with us. With those words coming from Tommy, but for me, statistically, yes, this is one of their weaker maps. You see Evil Genius already kicking things off hot. The first 30 seconds, and Evil Geniuses are taking every single point here. Fnatic as well, they can't just focus on breaking this. They've got to think about that cell block as well, Puckett.
Wuska not cleaning up Havoc could have been a huge mistake there, because Havoc's already on a 5-kill spree, and he is going to be working on streaks now. This next one would be massive. Unfortunately, Tommy is going to find him. So no streaks to speak of quite yet, but when we're watching this game, the real player for me to watch today is going to be Nagafin. Nagafin on day number 1 was abysmal versus Straight Rippin'. Nameless was terrible in search, but when it came to the respawns, Nagafin did not show up a .57 on the day.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have those players, you know, stepping up, especially when it comes to champs. For me, my eyes are on Scraps and Sunny B from Fnatic. Scraps, that consistent slayer. Sunny B, though, he's got a lot of flack. Last time I saw him play this was actually in the Global Pro League itself at playoffs. Played fantastically well, dropping 30 kills. Will he replicate that performance? We'll have to wait and see. But Parasite breaking from the back now. Scraps just looking around, doing work as usual, and on a 2-kill streak himself. He's going to match that 36 with 36 of his own. We're going to be heading to the cave very soon.
Yeah, and when you kind of look at the end of 2017, at the end of IW, you look at Fnatic and who is their best player? I think without a doubt you have to name it this man. Scraps, the stronger of the two twins. Wuskin, he's had some really strong search games. He's had his moments, but Scraps has been their most consistent player on this roster. At times, he's just put Sunny B in his backpack, but when Sunny B shows up as well, that's when they finish their career high. 6th place at stage 2. Fnatic, if they can get all 4 players rolling today, I don't think that they're out of the running for a first place positioning in this group.
Absolutely not. Yesterday, if you missed it, guys, they went all the way to map 5 with Tainted Minds. Evil Genius, yeah, they got shut out by Straight Rippin', and the two teams will meet, obviously, Fnatic and Straight a little bit later on. But this, as the guys on the desk already said, a must-win for both. Fnatic, they want to get that 2-0 in the group. It doesn't solidify anything, but it puts them in a very sweet spot. 60-36, the current score, as Parasite and Nagafen taking over the cave. We're going to be heading to the commissary shortly. That rotation decision now may be in the hands or the minds of Tommy.
And of course, you see those yellow arrows. They're just waiting for the commissary. A little bit afraid to peek here on the graveyard, but every second they don't peek, that is a point that is going up on Evil Genius's scoreboard. Doubling up their opponents and more as Nameless is looking for the entry kills now, trying to break the setup of Fnatic. Already picked up 1, now going for Tommy. Tommy's going to fall with some help from player number 1, that's Havoc. And here comes the cavalry. Evil Genius is trying to loop around. Fortunately, though, we got a flank coming in here from Fnatic, and as I say it, Scraps is going to get caught off guard. Yeah,
Scraps made a heads-up play there, but caught off by time. And look at that, Parasite uncontested on the wall run, just walks in there, literally, as he finds the second, and Tommy will fall now. Just like that, click of a finger, and Evil Geniuses have broke the commissary, which time and time again, we've seen teams hold for 40, 50 seconds sometimes. You got number 5 lurking around at the back, though. Wuskins could make a very big, impactful play.
Wuskin is going to be a big player because he just lost all of his support in the middle of the map. Nagafen's going to find 2 off guard, so Wuskin has to make the hero play here, and he's going to pick up the first. Second challenger is there. Wuskin is going to not finish it. It's going to be Tommy holding on to the hill with the help of his teammates at the top. Excuse me, it was EG still inside the hill, but I thought Tommy was going to take the top control. Either way, we're going to rotate here in 60 seconds, and I'm looking at the leaderboard. 12-5 from Havoc. He is doing his job. Parasite, the Black Ops 2 world champion, he's been doing his job so far in this game. EG outslaying Fnatic early on.
Yeah, Havoc in this E-Rad is causing a lot of problems for Fnatic. You can see that, you know, just kind of up close and personal, they're losing these gunfights time and time again. Havoc actually working towards a streak. He's on a 5. Can he make it a 6? He slides, turns, but not good enough. Sunny B taking him down with the E-Rad himself. But after that first rotation, Evil Genius double the points of Fnatic right now.
And I have to wonder, what's going on for Fnatic here? Are they like me? They haven't had their coffee yet. They need to wake up. they're getting outgunned, and it doesn't seem like they're ready for these gunfights that Evil Geniuses are constantly finding. You saw Nagafen picking off players from the side. There was Nameless catching 2 players off guard. Finally, Sunny B is going to be challenging out loading. Havoc spots him out with the Scarab and will have to defend himself here. Good break coming in from Fnatic, but it took him 50 seconds. EG with total control. Now we'll see, can Fnatic break through and wipe EG to get control of the cell block?
And this is the hardest part, breaking this cell block, especially when you're down by around 50 points here. Evil Genius, they can play these trades very, very well. Wuskins and Sunny, though, combining for the 3, and Fnatic will be just 1 kill away from taking it. You've got Havoc right at the back. Keep your eyes on that minimap, because he's going to be this player trying to just be a nuisance in Fnatic's backside, but no, he's been spotted. Erad has been loaded, and he's going to be taken down by Scraps. Now Fnatic, this is the time for them to really take this last 35 seconds, get themselves back in the game.
And they will. Look at that scoreboard. This is not a far game, and now with Wuskin fully streaked out after that 7 spree, you got to be a little bit worried for EG as we go to the graveyard. Those Trinity rockets, the bombardment, they can clear you even if EG sets up full for it.
Yep. Wuskins goes from 8-11 to 15-11. He is still on the streak, and you know, going into a hard point such as Cave, this is going to be very, very helpful for them. They can break this, they can use this to their advantage. It'll be interesting to see when he pulls that out. I'm keeping my eyes on it. He is moving around. It's like he's just waiting for that perfect time. The pinch may be being set up. Number 8, Sunny B. This is a player which loves a good flank, and he's waiting for this, because with the streak coming in now, Puckett, they're all going to back down into that cave, or not. They're going to get taken down as Havoc is, and that's a clean sweep for Fnatic. This could be the start of something good here. Distracted by the bombardment, then all the K-bars come flooding in, and Sunny B on that back end made sure that his team is not going to get flanked. I love the setup here from Fnatic. 2 strong hills back-to-back so far. EG, they're going to try and break. They got the first kill, but Scraps is there with Wuskin, the twin brothers, causing problems. Interesting. We're seeing smokes being used here, and we don't see that all the time, but for the first time, we do see Fnatic take the lead. Wuskins, again, still on this streak. Number 9 right now. He's got 1 minute and 14 more than anyone on his team for the objective, and he's really putting in a shift here for Fnatic. They're thinking about that commissary too, and they're actually first on the rotation, but no, Parasite taking down Wuskins after a few shaky shots. Wuskin at 17-12 after a slow start. Nice turnaround. That's been the difference maker in this game. You got Sunny B positive. This is the Fnatic we saw at stage 2. If you're EG, you're playing for your tournament life in this match, basically. They need to take it to the next level. Havoc has slowed down a little bit, but you are getting a better performance out of Nameless and Nagafen. Wuskins, again, a nice 2-piece there with the Trinity Rocket. Parasite, he's causing a bit of pain for Fnatic, but Scraps dismantles him as they do retake the commissary here. We've still got 35 seconds, Puckett, left on this hill. For me, I've got to see Evil Genius break this. They've got to put something together. Those 2 kills from Havoc, they're going to help. Nice job by Havoc, player number 4. Excuse me, number 1, working with Nameless, player number 4 on that mini-map. You saw the pinch. Now you see 3 players inside the hill here for Fnatic. They are going to take control of the bottom half of the mini-map. 15 points to go before we rotate once again. And Fnatic, last 3 minutes, basically, they have been in total control. I remember EG, they're up, what, 134 to 70-something for Fnatic? Since then, 16 points. I was just saying, Evil Genius are doubling the score of Fnatic, and just like that, Fnatic lead by 55 going into that 3rd rotation. And look at the setup that they have. Wuskins here, he has been jamming. That's going to cause a few problems for him. And now Evil Genius, they need to replicate what they did on the 1st and 2nd. They need to take a lot of this rooftop here. And right now, Fnatic, they seem to have tweaked. They seem to have worked out the game plan of Evil Genius. They're going to start unlocking payloads. Sunny combining as well. He's on a 3-kill streak, making a 4 as he destroys Nameless there, taking the cover behind, and now he's working on a streak of his own. And this is such a tough angle to challenge. You know he's set up there. He's got so much more cover than you, and you have to peek through that doorway. EG does not have a break yet, and it looks like unless they challenge once, it could be over on this hill. Sunny B doing such an incredible job with the Erad, a 7 streak to close out game number 1. Fnatic looking like they're in total control. All they have to do is hold 1 push from EG. You said it yourself, when Sunny B is firing, they're going to win. 21-13, 90 seconds on the hill. He's doing the objective. He's slaying on the likes of Wuskin's level. And, you know, the veteran, if you like, Tommy, we've hardly even spoke about, sat at 14-22. But right now, Fnatic, they are 7 points away from finishing this, Puckett. And here comes Sunny B. Pad these stats with the Trinities. He's going to find Nameless, and that is the game. 250 to 156 after being blown out by 104 points against Tainted Minds yesterday. Fnatic, they're looking strong here on day 2.
A solid performance there from Fnatic in map number 1. And again, to reiterate, if you are just tuning in for Evil Geniuses, this is a must-win matchup if they want to keep their fate this year at the Call of Duty World League Championship in their own hands. They cannot go 0-2. Then you're praying for a 3-way tie scenario. But from Fnatic, that is a fantastic start. Of course, we'll take a look at that group once again. Of course, currently it is led by Straight Rippin at 1-0. Fnatic, of course, are in second place at 1-0. Tainted Minds and Evil Geniuses both 0-1. Now, the other game in that Group F is currently going on Station 4. Of course, you can watch that exclusively if you're a Straight Rippin or Tainted Minds fan over on the Delta stream. But here's what you missed in map number 1. It went pretty heavily in Straight Rippin's favor. I'm not going to lie. It was 250 to 161, the final score. Straight Rippin just looked fantastic. Dashi and Temp, these two young players, Merc, they really have got a ton of talent. Oh,
a ton of talent. That's what we saw at the LCQ. The big question for Straight Rippin coming into this event was Ricky and Study. Obviously, they stepped up big time, yesterday versus Evil Geniuses, especially Ricky. I felt like he definitely found his sort of footing on this team, and they're continuing that right now. This is definitely a game, I think they should take.
The craziest part was I just looked at some of the numbers there on the right side. Of course, it's a 90-point win for Straight Rippin. Only 8 kills separated the two teams. Right. So the slaying was relatively close in this one. That's just a sign that Straight Rippin is playing the rotations well.
As we said, another kind of big game going on in that group. We'll definitely keep you updated with how that one is going. Elsewhere, the other two games are obviously Group E games. We'll show you that group now, just so your memory is constantly refreshed throughout the day. Of course, Red Reserve at 1-0, FaZe.Clan 1-0, Allegiance 0-1, and Era 0-1. And there was actually a little bit of quote-unquote an upset, obviously on Station 2, Merc. Allegiance versus Red Reserve, map 1, it goes in favor of ALG.
Yeah, Allegiance just had an early lead. Then Nova went on a huge streak at that, I believe, second Cathedral Hill, and he was able to use that, bombardment. That helped them break this broken, and they were able to close it out. Again, sort of a shaky game from Shawnee and Joe. Those are the two players who we sort of said they have to play consistent if Red Reserve wants to succeed. But this Allegiance roster, this is what we talked about. They are a threat to this. Obviously, FaZe.Clan beat them yesterday, but they can cause a lot of upsets in this pool.
And if Allegiance is to somehow steal this series, it definitely makes that group a little more interesting. Obviously, two teams there are 1-1. Could shape up for a very interesting conclusion to day 2. In terms of the FaZe game, I was going to show a replay, but I'm going to be honest with you boys, it was an absolute whitewash. If you are a FaZe fan and you want to watch that game exclusively, feel free to tune into the Charlie stream. But I can tell you they're in map 2 and it's 5-0 S&D in their favor. That is probably going to be one of the quicker 3-0s of the day.
Eric got a free trip here, though. Eric got a free trip.
There's some cash. There's some cash.
10K.
I mean, map 1 as well was pretty brutal, but FaZe, it looks as if they're about to be 2-0 up in that series. As I said, you can tune into the Charlie stream where you can watch that one exclusively. But back to the game that obviously you guys were covering there, EG versus Fnatic. Merc, I know you were glancing at it. Is this looking kind of bad for EG? Obviously, now
absolutely.
They have to
Again, it's that problem where their first half of the game looks so strong, but they're not able to bounce back. When they have to sort of break a setup, they just can't do it. One of those guys has to step up big time. Obviously, Havoc played well, but just not good enough.
Evil Genius is obviously needing to win map number 2, the Search and Destroy. And speaking of that Search and Destroy, I believe it is now underway. Fnatic looking to conclude this series pretty well. We'll see if they were able to do so. Already, game underway.
They're one step closer, right? You go 2-0, you are feeling good about your chances making it into the bracket after Tainted Minds 0-1 start. And of course, EG currently sitting at winless. As we get into this Search and Destroy, the players to watch in this one, without a doubt, are going to be Wuskin and Scraps. In their 2 searches yesterday, you saw Scraps dropping 13-6 for the loss in a game number 2. Wuskin, he gets a 1v4, finishes with 13 kills of his own to secure the win against TM in a game 5.
Yeah, I mean, this map really does pay in Fnatic's favor. I spoke to the guys again before this. They were playing and, sat opposite Evil Genius, and they were kind of saying, and Tommy in particular, he was like, no, it's not particularly a good map. I was like, you are wrong. I've seen you play this map time and time again. You've taken North American teams, the likes of LG, and many, many more. You've really done damage with this map itself, and they don't really see it. They just see they're playing their own game. But every time I see Fnatic on Crusher, they literally, I just win most of the time. I will say, since obviously, Anaheim, it has been a little bit different, but overall, this whole season long, I think Fnatic really do favor on Crusher S&D.
Since Dallas, I mean, they do have a losing record at 5-6, but we've seen flashes of brilliance from Fnatic on this map, especially Tommy in some 1v1s. He always seems to clutch up when needed. Wuskin, 3-0 start, and he is going to be looking for kill number 4 here in round number 2. EG looking for a first blood, and that bomb is planted by Parasite at B. Scraps, though, going to pick Nagafen first, and Nameless is going to fall as well. EG, just like that, loses 3. Havoc in a 1v4. This round is done.
Even though Scraps picked up that second kill, I will say it was just bait and switch. It's classic. It's Call of Duty 101 when you're playing S&D. You know, you use your players, your teammates to your advantage. You know, if one's peeking out, he's distracted, use that, take it, and run away with it. EG, though, already 2-0 down. Not a great start. Just to highlight, really, EG yesterday, they got 3-0'd by straight ripping. You know, they're 1-0 down against Fnatic. This is not a good position if you're an EG fan.
And honestly, this is the worst map draw you could possibly ask for. You look at EG's numbers, you got Breakout. They haven't won it yet. You come into your worst search and destroy in game number 2. The good news is game 3, it's your best uplink, but this is a tough way to start against Fnatic, knowing that this is a must-win scenario. Nagafen is going to get the intro 2 kills, though. Wuskin trying to answer back here in round number 3. He's got bomb in hand, Scarab already playing for these Trinity Rockets, has to stay alive.
Oh, and he does so and takes another one to the grave with him there. 2v2 now. Can Wuskins and Tommy pull off a 2v4? Nagafen opened up this map here, but Wuskins and Tommy trying to close it out. You can see how far Wuskins is back. He's picked up 3 already. He's 6-0. He's trying to find that 7th. It will unlock the Trinity Rocket. If I was Tommy, I'd be getting over as quick as possible, and that is what he's doing. Wuskins, though, he has this bomb in his hand. It's the decision that he needs to go for now. Does he go for this plant? Because he's so close to that score streak.
And there is the challenger. Nagafen from the window is going to find his 3rd kill. So this is going to be a battle for the ace. Is it Wuskin or is it Nagafen? 28 seconds left on the clock, and Wuskin is set up. Nagafen's going to run right into the crosshairs. A 3-0 start in the ace from Wuskin.
I love Scraps sometimes. He's just pointing in his brother's face and just telling him he's the best sometimes. That chemistry that they have, I want to say unmatched, but you look at Prestini and Arcetis, you know, that kind of twin duo ship is very hard to match. You know what your brother's thinking before he even does himself. EG, though, they're finding themselves in a very tricky position. Nagafen, you know, 3 kills to his name. What more can he do? Yes, get 4 maybe?
I mean, Nameless gets picked by Wuskin on the retreat. I felt like EG, they got a little bit too hungry after those intro kills. Early grenade going to be met by a trophy. Parasite with first blood for EG, but Sunny B has support. Nameless with a big win there is going to open things up for our blue squad.
Fnatic there, including Wuskins bagging himself that full score streak. Scraps now left in a 1v3. He's going to find one. Now a 1v2. Nameless does have that bomb, and Scraps trying to work the angles. He found one, not the second.
Oh.
Nameless with a slither of health. You saw that.
1 bullet away. So close for another Fnatic round, but EG get away with it by the skin of their teeth. And this comes down to your first blood. Parasite with a very strong round here. Round number 4, EG finally on the board. And you just got to wonder, when is EG going to wake up? Because across this year, I mean, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top 8 finishes? This has been a consistent team. To see them not even make it into our final 16 after starting out with just 32 squads, this would be a real shame.
Yeah, really difficult for Evil Genius. Scraps, though, is kicking things off with another traded out, and a quick 2v2. This is a very fast-paced search and destroy. We're in round 5 already here, and that's about to be over. I wouldn't be surprised to see the streaks kind of go towards Bravo, but no. We're going to see this a 1v2 Nagafen again. He needs to clutch up.
He was awful in the respawns yesterday, but we know what he can do in search and destroy. Already had a round with a 3K, looking for another pick. Wuskin working with Tommy once again. They won a 2v4 earlier. You see them on the minimap, the arrow 1 and arrow 2 at the top, watching each other's back, just sitting in the narrow corridors.
Yeah, they're sitting that top ledge over towards A. It's the decision of which one you want to go for. Wuskins, of course, carrying that bomb, and they might come head-to-head here. Of course, Fnatic have the advantage at a 2v1. Nagafen's got a C2, and there you go. The trades come in. Nagafen, he spots him first, but a 2v1 always very difficult to pull off, and Tommy and Wuskins, they'll be happy with that one.
And the worst part here is you see Nagafen just took an extra step forward.
Yeah.
I think if he just sits an inch back in that doorway, he gets away with the kill. Can then challenge in a 1v1 a little bit later after regaining health. But buddy system paying off. Wuskin and Tommy, the duo so far in search and destroy. 8-2 from Wuskin. Tommy sitting at 4-3. And you also have Scraps looking positive. On the other side for EG, where is Havoc? The guy that was leading the way in the start of the hard point. He's disappeared in search at 1-5. Parasite, 2-5.
Really interesting choice here. Fnatic, they have full streaks, yet they go full on B. Maybe a bit of reverse psychology here, trying to catch them off guard, but no. Evil Genius, they choose A, and now look at those 4 arrows. Wolf packing together. This is going to be a bloodbath here. 60 seconds left on the clock. Will the bomb go down? Yes, it will. First blood will be drawn. That's by Tommy. Tommy's jumping straight on it. No, he's going to jump off. He knows the Parasite is still lingering around, and now a 2v3 for Fnatic.
And Sunny B just opened up things here for Waskin. Unfortunately, Havoc is going to get the best of him, and EG, they're not going away yet. Nice round. They stuck together. They got the bomb planted pretty quickly over here, and now you see them. They're setting up on defense. How do you get back in this game? I'm keeping my eyes on Havoc.
Yeah, he was great the first half. Obviously, the hard point, this S&D, has made some very clutch plays as well, keeping his team in the game. Currently sitting, I believe, at 4 and 5. The question is for me, Puckett, when are these streaks going to come into play? For me, it'd be Fnatic on maybe this round here, just to give them that 5-2 lead.
And is Waskin a powerful streaks player? I know we've seen some guys have more success with these Trinity Rockets than others.
Well, he's always lighting it up in Search and Destroy. He's got them a few times before, so he should be used to it. A professional player in his rights, there's no excuse for poor streaks.
And that Centurion is going to let him know exactly where EG is set up. Scraps is going to find first blood on Havoc. Those Trinities just forcing EG to back down, buying time here for our Fnatic squad. And Tommy will find the second kill already. It's a 2-on-4 for EG.
Yeah, Fnatic just knew exactly where they were. That's what the Trinity Rocket really does. And the question is, does Waskin use it correctly? Yes, he does. You know, spots it out, calls it, and his teammates are there. And the one thing I love that I've seen from Fnatic so far is like 50-60% of the kills, you know, they're team shots. There's 2 people shooting at one player at all times. Again, Fnatic on Crusher, I know they don't admit it themselves, but they're just very good.
EG underperforming at stage 2. This may be the worst I have seen them all year, though. Blown out on day 1, and it's looking like they're going to fall 0-2. Fnatic is on game point. EG needs to rally off 4 straight rounds. Nameless, your bomb carrier, and we're currently on board with the Fnatic crew as they will spot the movement. 3 players seen by Waskin, make it all 4.
Waskins, he's trying to take one with him. He knows the challenge is coming in, and Nagafen makes that a 4v3 in their favor. Parasite and Tommy added to the list as well. A 2v3 puts Evil Geniuses in the advantage right now, but Tommy and Scraps, the 2 alive, like you said, still has camo. If they can make it a 2v2, wouldn't be surprised if they try and close this one out, but staying alive is Scraps here as he gets away with his life. Tommy coming from behind.
Tommy with the pinch. No one's watching the flank, and now he's got reactive. You have 2 payloads, a pinch set up, camo available for Scraps to set up, and he's going to use it right here, Momo.
Well, if he uses that, Tommy can use the reactive if he needs to.
Done.
I think Tommy's used the reactive as well. It's a 1v2. If for any reason Nameless can win this round, he's burned the camo and the reactive. It's not looking likely, but he's got away with his life and can go in towards A. Fnatic, they've invested everything.
I thought after Scraps was in position, I thought he had Nameless dead to rights. Nameless is going to escape, and more importantly, he's got the bomb down. So this is manageable. He's got to get a quick first pick, though, and then escape with his life.
For me, Fnatic, they need to challenge together, and right now they're on complete opposite ends of the maps. Nameless, though, I believe he's been spotted by number 3. It's Scraps, and he's going to end that one right there. The investment pays off. You could see what Tommy and Scraps were thinking. They pinched almost with 2 payloads, but somehow, I believe it was Nameless who just got away with him, or Parasite there at the very end. But Fnatic, they're going to close it out, Puckett. It's 2-0.
17-9 from the Twins. You got Tommy going 9-4 as well. Fantastic start here for Fnatic and Search and Destroy. They're up 2-0 in the best of 5 against EG.
Phenomenal, of course. That veteran leadership of Tommy is part of that exclusive club as well. We obviously talked about Shane yesterday extensively, but Tommy's there as well. Been to every single $1 million Call of Duty tournament, and you see him now just kind of leading this young squad. But on the flip side, of course, is Evil Geniuses squad, Merc. I want to get your opinion on this. You've got a 2013 world champion in Parasite. You've got a 2014 runner-up in Nameless, which you actually played with. I mean, what's going wrong for this EG squad?
I hate to be a sort of Debbie Downer. I just haven't been a fan of this roster since they first formed at the beginning of the year, right? You can go back, you watch old tournaments. Right. I've never been a fan of it. I just feel like it's too many selfish play styles on this team, revolving so much around Search and Destroy. There's no true leader, and I feel like that's what these guys sort of, you know, when they play well, they have a true leader, and right now it just doesn't seem like it. Obviously, even in the past, Nameless and Parasite, they've always tried coming back together after sort of that Unite victory in Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
Since then, though, those two just getting together, it hasn't been the best of results. this uplink, man, this is so important to their tournament run.
It definitely is. Again, to reiterate, Evil Geniuses need to win here to keep their tournament life in their own hands. A loss means they're praying for three-way ties. Of course, the other game going on in this group is the Station 4 matchup, Straight Rippin' versus Tainted Mind. I mean, you can see here, Straight Rippin' in absolute full control. It looks very, very good, Momo, for them to go 2-0 in this group.
Oh, yeah, and you can see especially Dashi for me at the LCQ was, you know, he was fantastic in his S&Ds as well. Studdy, you know, for me, is kind of been put under the radar, if you like, with Dashi and Temp kind of coming into this roster. Studdy was that kind of cast off from EG, and I think there was an interview yesterday, and I kind of stood and just watched him, and just the fire, the hunger, and I said, it's really contagious. When I listen to him, I'm like, I get fired up just from listening to how excited he is.
Makes you want to play.
And I think, yes, you know, he's not a player which, you know, will drop 40s kind of in the maps, but you have someone like that on your team, it radiates through the team. The positivity on Straight Rippin' is fantastic right now.
Definitely does.
I think the big thing that I'm noticing here is that Tainted Minds really isn't a threat in this group. I thought this was going to determine, could we see a crazy tiebreaker scenario today? Is Tainted Minds going to cause some upsets? It's looking like Straight Rippin's in total control. They've been leading in every single game, and currently I just looked down, they're up 2-0 in their game 3.
Yeah, I mean, Tainted Minds, they almost did beat Fnatic yesterday, right? It did go to a game 5. Maybe you had that upset, but Fnatic able to close it out. So, I mean, Tainted Minds, we just weren't too sure the caliber of their play, but I mean, it's a tough pool.
Definitely is. Of course, the other group games going on is going to be Group E. You can find them on, I believe, Bravo and Charlie Station. We'll take a look at the group as it stands right now. Of course, Red Reserve and FaZe Clan both at 1-0. Allegiance 0-1 as well as Era being 0-1. Allegiance, obviously, in their matchup, they started off with a win on Station 2. They're 1-0 up. Then, of course, the Search and Destroy. And Red Reserve just kind of doing what they do best.
Yeah, this is a Search and Destroy, and the big thing to me is Joe plays a lot better. He clutches a 1v2, a 1v1. So many of these rounds came down to this. Retake situations with 1v1s. Believe he tries to hop on this bomb, but again, Joe's the last guy alive, and I think he did this 3 rounds, honestly. You know, 3 1v1 situations where he won them. I feel like this Red Reserve team can go as far as Joe takes them, honestly. I feel like the other 3 are very consistent players. If Joe steps up big time, we saw it last year. This guy's a runner-up, you know? He can, you know, potentially be in a final again.
I was going to say Red Reserve, they love pushing the game 5.
Yeah.
They like going the distance. They can. They're very good at clutching on the S&D.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because to me, when I watch this Red Reserve squad, it reminds me of kind of the old school 2013, 2014, S&D wins championships. That's very much what this Red Reserve squad is like. I mean, they're very kind of like, oh, you know, we're just going to win our searches and we'll pray we steal a respawn. Of course, the other game going on is the FaZe versus Era game. Obviously, I gave you a verbal update that FaZe was destroying Era. Of course, as it stands, it's Uplink game 3, FaZe with a 5-3 lead right now. Here's the closing moments. This is expected though, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, this Era team, we don't know too much about them, but FaZe Clan, we felt like they were definitely a favorite in this group. And they're performing pretty well. I feel like the first 2 games they just destroyed, I feel like they maybe slowed down a little bit. A 5-3 Uplink win isn't too convincing, but it's a W.
In that 5th point, it came in the last 30 seconds. So it was within 1 possession to the final minute. Zuma, though, he's looking good throughout this day so far. +7 in game 3.
Well, that will, of course, now mean FaZe with a 3-0 victory is going to push them to 2-0 in that group. We'll keep you updated with the other game in, of course, Group E. But for now, we're going to quick commercial break. When we return, Day 2 continues. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to day 2 of the 2017 CWL Championship, presented, of course, by the PlayStation 4. Our final day of group play, of course. We had yesterday, which really set the stage for today. We'll know our bracket by the end of the day as well, Merc, which is exciting, of course. You've competed at many of these big tournaments. What's it like when you finally know where you are in the bracket?
It can be scary at times, right? Because, you know, I mean, you could play well, you know, just like maybe United today, and then tomorrow they have to face the Luminosity in round 1, right? Like, that's never fun, but you have to deal with your cards, right? So it can be scary, but it's also the most fun. You know, a lot of these top teams, they sort of put themselves already into that bracket. They know they can survive these groups. And, you know, they're very excited.
Of course, we're currently following Group F, where Evil Geniuses and Fnatic are going toe-to-toe. Fnatic, though, making it look somewhat easy, I think it's fair to say. They currently have a 2-0 lead in the series. And again, to reiterate, for Evil Geniuses, this is a must-win series if they want to keep their tournament life in their own hands.
It seems like after that second rotation of hills in the first hardpoint, Fnatic has woken up. EG, they went back to bed. Search and Destroy did not go their way, but this is their best game type. When it comes to Uplink, you're glad you drew Precinct. You're 3-1, a 75% win rate on this map. When you look at the success of EG, how do they get it done again here, Momo?
I mean, EG, they really need to start working as a team. I think Merc kind of nailed it on the head when, you know, the kind of play styles within this roster, yeah, they're full very talented players, but sometimes they can butt heads, sometimes it doesn't work. For me, they all need to be on the same page, but right now, Fnatic, they're reading them like a book, and they are just working it so well. We sit still 0-0 after 60 seconds has passed here. But again, for EG, I think a big thing for them is just don't lose 2-4 points in the first minute, and they've managed to do that. They've managed to kind of get into this game and just kind of work themselves into it.
First minute, 10 seconds. No one really even touching the drone yet. Everyone just posturing around the map, trying to pick up the kills. Tommy with a nice headshot there on Parasite. Gonna slow down EG's setup. And here comes Scraps inside. He's pulling out the E-Rad here, and here's your first go for Fnatic. You got player number 2, Tommy, leading the way. Scraps is gonna throw down the drone and look for the kills. It's gonna be Wuskin with the objective, and he's gonna throw it through. First point is on the board after 1:30.
Fnatic take the lead here, and that is not what you wanted as an EG fan here. They wanted to bounce back strong, and I tell you what, 2 go down from Sunny B, and that's going to put them in a very powerful position, and that's where EG could have really kind of countered the play of Fnatic, but Sunny, he puts a stop to that straight away. And
I think Fnatic has figured out what EG is going to try and do every single time, and that is to get Parasite on the cat statue. Every single time Parasite gets 1 kill, someone from Fnatic with an E-Rad is getting up close and picking him off. You continue to do that, you are definitely going to have the lead at the end of our first half. Fnatic with total control on the mini-map. 1 at a time, EG is flooding forward and having to deal with 3 players. Even if they get 1 pick, there's 2 more people waiting for him.
1-0 for Fnatic. A good start for them as they do start to try and really end this series here. For these guys coming into this, they knew they were already 1-0 in the group. They finished this with a nice 3-0 sweep over EG. Doesn't solidify anything, but it puts them in a very favorable position to make that bracket play, Puckett.
Now, one thing we should point out here is there is one player that is shining above everyone else, and that's Nameless. He was 12-6, now 12-7, and he's getting it done with an unusual weapon in his hands. Rarely do we see Nameless running the E-Rad. He is having success with it early on. Parasite with a big double, but the drone is still in the hands of Fnatic somehow. Tommy just making everyone come back to the center of the map, buying time for his teammates to get off respawn, and then you have EG pinching in, getting caught off guard once again. There's been no momentum. There's been no real attacks from EG despite some of these intro kills. You need guys like Nagafen and Parasite to start dropping more numbers, and once again, Havoc, you know, he always has the potential to go off. He has been silent here in the first few minutes.
Absolutely, and you're talking Nameless, and it's not just the kills he's putting up, it's the interactions, and what I mean by that is his kills and his deaths combined. It just shows he's in the mix a lot more than the rest of the team combined. And you can kind of see, you know, what an impact he's making on this team. Of course, EG are 2-0 down right away here, but 1:20 left on this side of the Uplink before we switch things over. Nameless actually picking up 2 right on our stream. And we're going to go continue with Nameless. Still E-Rad in hand. He's found another sliding on in. He's trying to dispatch of him. Sunny B deleted. Can he find another? Yes, he can. Scraps has been put down, and that's a 4-kill streak. But the question is, where's the drone, Puckett?
Well, it's going the opposite way. No, finally, Nagafen is going to bring it up. It's actually Havoc, who gets the 1-pointer. Stopped short of the dunk. player number 7, Parasite, trying to trap in these spawners. And is there going to be a rally for the drone? It looks like Fnatic is going to clear their base. Parasite still watching the top lane, though. If they get 1 or 2 picks, this could be a dunk. Is EG going to rally? Just 40 seconds left to score in your first half. 3 kills are scored. The drone is moving up. This time, Havoc should put it through for 2.
Yeah, and that he will. And again, for me, yes, Parasite was holding that top lane, but it was Nameless who came in, took down 2, and just opened that game up for Evil Genius. They are back in this 3-2, 20 seconds left to go. And we're going to see this change hands with Evil Genius in the lead unless Fnatic can get something at the last second.
Nameless is straight up wheeling, 21-12, going off. You look on the other side, Tommy's got the best score for Fnatic at 16-10 on a 5 streak currently, and Tommy's going to challenge for the points. 3 seconds left. It's looking like we're going to finish our first half 2-3 EG with the lead. The question is, will they be able to hold on to it as we flip sides?
That man on the very end, Nameless, he's been taking this game by the scruff of its neck, and he's been dragging EG through it. He'll be wanting to get these guys right back into this, take this to a game 5. It would have to be a reverse sweep to take Fnatic, as they've lost map 2 and of course the first as well. Just looking at that scoreboard, 21-13 here. Yesterday we saw Formal. He dropped 43 on this map. Nameless, he's nearly on for the same if he continues.
Sunny B and Wuskin winning the intro fights in the center of the map, and Sunny B is going to win another one. A big E-Rad kill on Nameless. That's 3 down for Evil Geniuses, and Sunny B is leading the charge, melting through everybody. The SMG is going to also pick up the drone. That should not be a 2-point play. EG can't stop it. Fnatic takes your lead.
Sunny B, by the way, has opened this game straight away a 4-kill streak, but it was his 3rd kill which really kind of nailed it. It was the gentleman sat behind that green car, and he got deleted. Scraps is continuing. That's going to drop in for 5, and Evil Genius, they start the half with a 3-2 lead, and just like that, 45 seconds passed, and 3 have been put in that defensive goal.
And I think that's the difference between these two teams. EG, yeah, they got back-to-back scores, but it wasn't a clean rally. Tommy instantly jumping on that objective, puts in a 2nd score for Fnatic. They have the lead. Here comes Evil Geniuses, though. Nameless putting the E-Rad down after 4 kills, missing the toss, though, and that is going to cost them big. Can they get the dunk out of it anyway? Havoc looks like he's got it. It was looking ugly for a moment, but Wuskin can't stop the score. 5-5, just like that. EG ties it up, but here comes Sunny B from Fnatic.
Yeah, that's a 1-point play you shouldn't miss. They clean up with a 2, and Fnatic actually did that on the previous score. So, you know, all tied up at that, and all tied up here 5-5 with 3 minutes and 30 left on the clock. Tommy and Wuskins make it 3 go down. Nameless is the 4th, and this will be a dunk here. They're going to put it in straight away, and this is Fnatic's chance to really start a relay. The spawn trap potential coming in. FTL is available. He's not going to find the first, and shaky shots there. EG, they stopped that momentum right away.
Yeah, I think Fnatic got a little bit excited. You had all 4 players inside EG's base. It looked like that was their home base. Instead, EG, though, getting some kills around gas. Now continuing as they push this one statue side once again. Nameless gonna find a pick. You got Parasite on a 2 spree as well. Sunny B slows down Havoc, but this is at least a 1-point play, you have to think. Nagafen gonna make the moves, and this is gonna get him even closer to his camo.
Yeah, and Tommy's kind of over-rotated. He's just overextended to that middle here, just to kind of stop anything from kind of spiraling out of control. And 2 kills, 3 kills go in favor of Sunny, and Scraps combining for Fnatic. And this is what you talked about here. Parasite on that cat. Well, he's going to find one, but that drone's out of his control now. He's going to have to cut through top. Is he going to be stopped? Yes, he will. No, the manual pass to straight away his teammate. A well set up, a well thought out play, but it's stopped by Evil Genius.
And keep your eyes on Tommy. He's got this overdrive. That's super speed here in Call of Duty. At any moment, he could pop it. Nameless with the Centurion setting up in the middle of the map, has had the E-Rad all game long, and he is using it well. 30-19. This one goes through after a 1-point miss earlier. He is clear to take the lead. 8-7, 2 minutes to go. This is anyone's game, and if you're just joining us, this is EG's tournament life on the line. You go down in this match, you're looking at 0-2. You're not making it to bracket play, most likely.
Yeah, Nameless, I believe, has just popped something down. It might have been the Centurion for his squad at the top of those stairs. 30 kills to his name. He is literally playing unbelievable in this uplink, really stepping it up. Wuskins and Sunny B, though, they're going to put 2 to bed as the drone goes in Sunny's hand, and now pushing forward. Tommy with the MV4. Is that the overdrive that I see coming in? FTL available for Sunny B, but the kill's going in favor of Fnatic. Can they tie it up? Yes, they can. 8-8 is the scoreline. Chris, this is where I start to look at payloads. Who is going to use them better?
Nagafen still does not have his camo. Scrap so close to his, and Tommy with that overdrive. Same thing can be said about Parasite for Evil Geniuses. Keep your eyes on the payloads as we get down to the final 60 seconds. You can see both teams looking for the stall. They need 2 down before they can make a move on the objective.
Big kill onto Tommy. Havoc gets rid of Wuskins, and Scrap's there trying to make something here, trying to take some players down, and he will. He finds 2. He's going to be taken out by Parasite, and now a 1v2 here sitting around for Tommy. And Tommy, what actually he does, he picks up the drone, he's out of there. He's running, he's passing it to his teammate. They're trying to wrap this right around, and this link-up play from Fnatic. This is going to go to Scraps, who has camo. The question is, when does he use it?
Wow.
He's got his teammates right alongside him, Puckett.
Oh, Havoc getting in the face and slapping Scraps. The camo is not going to be effective, and he burned it right there. Look at this. Evil Geniuses, this is your game to lose right now.
Oh my goodness, Sunny B with the 3-piece there stops Evil Genius. He could have changed the game. He's the one with the drone in hand. It's all up to Nameless. He might be caught there. He's going to find one. He can't finish the kill, but the drone is going to go down at the garage.
Just one defender.
Tommy's got overdrive. Is he going to go for the 1-point play? That's all he needs. It goes straight in at 9-8. Tommy's going to finish this one. That is 3-0 to Fnatic, and that is the nail in the coffin if you're an EG fan.
Someone give Sunny B the MVP award, because he just went huge. EG had the game in their hands, and they let it fall away. Evil Geniuses 0-2 in their group, and they have to feel shattered, winless throughout group play.
Cometh the moment, cometh the man right there for Tommy. If there was any player on Fnatic you wanted the drone to fall to with the final few seconds, it was him. What composure from Tommy. And I mean, for Evil Geniuses, you can see what it means. Nameless, a player who, as I mentioned earlier on, runner-up in 2014. He's no stranger to the big stage here at the Call of Duty World Championships. But of course, for Evil Geniuses, it isn't officially over, but now they have to